Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannon's Insurance for Motoring Enthusiasts, Gator, Induction, and carsales.com.au. G'day, this is Fletch, your presenter of the TV show Classic Restos. It's the show where it's your chance to see completed restorations being shown, driven, and enjoyed. G'day and welcome to Day 3 of Chrysler Nationals at Carlisle, Pennsylvania, USA. Wow, I'm in awe doing this, and it's thanks to my major sponsors. Now you can find out who these people are. Well, you probably do know who they are, but find out more about what they do when you visit classicrestos.com.au. This is Day 3 of the Chrysler Nationals in Pennsylvania, USA. Chrysler's at Carlisle. What a sensational event. I'm also very excited to be able to bring it to you via Classic Restos. Remember back in the days of the 60s and the early 70s when the new model was going to come out? Remember the talk? You might have remembered it at high school. You might have heard of the next Falcon coming out, the next Holden coming out. In America, the next Chevy, Mopar, Ford. The dealerships were plastered with the name of the new car coming across the dealerships. That sort of stuff doesn't happen anymore. It's as though we've all lost the plot. No one cares about the next model or what it's called. Now behind me is an authentic 1960s Chrysler dealership, and it's been retroed for this event. Now if you've never experienced a dealership from back in the day, you're about to.
I heard about you. I see you got a new banana cruiser.
Well, it's not every day that you get to walk into a retro dealership and touch a 1971 426 Hemi Charger. We can't wind the clocks back to 1971 either, but at least coming in here gives you half a sensation on how the time must have been, especially when you see all these seemingly brand new cars lined up in the service department. When you come to the Chrysler Nationals here at Carlisle, this is the type of stuff that you get to experience, stuff that you can't put words to. You just have to be here. Okay, we're here at Beanie Motors at Carlisle, and we've got a legend here. We have Herb McCandless. Now, Herb, iconic drag racer from the 60s. Herb, welcome to Classic Restos.
Thank you very much, sir.
Herb, it's great to see you. I mean, I have to say that when you're in your heyday, when you're in the mid-60s and up into the late 60s, I was just this kid that was born, and it's later in life when you look back and see the runs on the board that you guys have done, that's where it's in here now. You know, we can fully appreciate that.
Well, we grew up in a time that there'll never be again. A kid like myself that had the ability to drive a 4-speed car, which is all I basically had. I didn't have any money or anything, but if you were really good with it, you could pick up a little help here and there, and eventually I managed to get help from Chrysler and got into one of the 65 Hemi cars, and that's when I really got started and became a professional drag racer.
Herb, when the Ram Chargers came about in the early 60s, 61 and 62, what was that time like? I mean, you would have been a young guy to get in one of these cars and shoot it down the quarter mile. Explain the feeling.
Well, you know, I was just getting started in it. I graduated from high school in 61, and those guys were already started in it. And this, to race then, that's just what we wanted to do. We worked so hard to go to the track and make a run in what then was our street cars. We didn't really have race cars, we had street cars.
When you went from the Max wedges and stepped out of those into the 426 Hemi, I mean, that must have been a wonderful transitional period. Although, mind you, the Ram Charger wedges were no slouches either.
Oh yeah, the wedges were great. I never had a Max wedge car. I actually had a Z11, had a 409, bought some parts from Nicholson, made a Z11 conversion deal out of it, and was running that in '64 as a modified production car. And I used to outrun this gentleman every Saturday night that had a Plymouth. Fletch, this is the legendary 426 Hemi. This is what started it all. This is what started match racing. This is what started pro stock. The Hemi has the exhaust valve here and the intake valve over here. A lot of people don't understand what a Hemi is, but that's the description of the Hemi. The intake comes in this way, exhaust comes out this way, where your normal engines are side by side. But this is the engine that started it all. This is what started the match racing, the whole deal. This was actually a street version that they put in the cars from '66 to '71, just like the cars that are sitting over here. But this engine has just changed the entire drag racing picture completely. If it hadn't have been for this, there wouldn't be funny cars and top fuel like it is today, and the whole pro stock thing. Everything came involved because of this engine. NASCAR, this engine ruled the world through the mid-'60s and early '70s. Carlisle is the biggest event, the best event. If you want to come to see Mopars, this is the place to come. I mean, you've been out there, you have a parking area for Demons, you have a parking area for Cudas, you have a parking area for Imperials. I don't care what it is, Vipers, anything. They have a separate parking area for them. So if you want to look at a Challenger or whatever, you go to the Challenger field, and here's 50 of them. I drove my '62 Imperial up here 4 years ago, 5 years ago, something like that. And I came in. Now, when I go somewhere in my '62 Imperial four-door Baron, I'm the only Imperial there. There were 23 Imperials here. I couldn't believe it. We actually got a...
You had competition.
Oh, yeah, we actually got a '62 convertible, a two-door hardtop, a Crown, and my LeBaron, and parked them side by side so people could see all the different versions of that car that was put out. Yeah. And there's nowhere else you can go and see that. Nowhere. Absolutely nowhere.
That's wonderful. Thanks, Herb. Hey, isn't he a good bloke, eh?
Hi, I'm Herb McCandless, and we're watching Flex on Classic Restos.
You know when they say that everything in America's bigger, it's so true. We just stopped at this cafe here inside the grounds here at Carlisle. Have a go at the size of the tomato sauce dispensers. Now, every table has got one of these. Better than the bloody sauce we get at home. You get one of them tubes of a skinny nozzle on the top, 3 squirts and you're out. Don't mess with the Americans when it comes to sauce. Don't do it, mate. This is a classic example of a 1970 Coronet RT convertible. Now, the guy reckons this is a piece of shit, and his wife hates it. She wants him to sell it. I've even offered to buy it from him. He said the wife would give it to me. Now, I've tried to put the guy's mind at rest, and I've said to him, look, let me take it. No, I'm not getting it. He's not going to sell it to me. But have a go at this. This is technically a Survivor, a car that's never been restored. Yeah, sure, there's some rust in it, but have a go at the potential. This is a very, very original car. Okay, Richard, welcome to the show, mate.
Yeah, thank you. It's great to be here. You're making it even better.
Absolutely. Now, you're all disappointed about your car. What, you don't want it?
Oh, I love it. It's just...
Why don't you restore it?
When I get the time and money, I'll do it right. But when I restore it, I can't load car parts in it and drive to the show. I can't throw a bicycle in the back once I restore it. So once I restore it, I'll have to be more careful with it and won't get to have as much fun with it.
You can't feed strawberries to pigs, can you?
I guess you could, but they wouldn't eat them? I don't know.
What I'm saying is you're using this old classic here as a workhorse, aren't you?
Yes. Yes, and I'm enjoying doing that. I shouldn't, but I enjoy it.
Each to their own.
That's right. I'm going to paint it pink in the interim because my daughter likes pink. And so I'm thinking of painting it Panther Pink, just an Earl Scheib $29.95 quick paint job in the interim so she can look at a pink car. And then I'll do it right eventually.
Do you actually know what you've got here?
It's a neat car, and it's an old car. There's only 200 and some of them made, depending on who you count, so I know it's worth something.
Do you know what this would mean to people in Australia and New Zealand?
Well, it would mean a lot, I guess, to them. In the interest of international cooperation, we should probably let this go over there, but we're not fighting with them. Australia's good, New Zealand's good, so we're not fighting with them, so I'm not interested in healing any political bridges.
Well, look, Richard, I'm going to look forward to seeing you back here in 2012, and let's see how much more rust is in the old girl between now and then.
Yeah, very good. We'll make some.
But if you do happen to restore it in the meantime, you'll be a very lucky guy.
I appreciate that. I'm lucky to have had the car and the friendship of those people meeting me today.
Good on you, Richard. Well, here we go. Classic Restos here at the Chrysler Nationals at Carlisle. Welcome to the show, Jason.
Thank you, sir.
A 66 Charger, and a very, very good one, mate. This is a gorgeous car. Beautiful car. Now, what award did you win today?
We got a second place in our class for 66, 67 Chargers. They had a small reunion here with the first generation Chargers, and had everyone in the same class. It was probably one of the biggest congregations of Chargers in the country since the last rendezvous for the 40th anniversary.
Sensational. Now, look, this is a genuine factory car. I mean, very, very original, apart from wheels. But, I mean, where does it go back with you?
Well, it all starts, my father had bought the car used in 1971, and drove it for 3 years, and basically was retired into barn storage for 16 years after that. And as I was growing up and dreaming of having a restored Chrysler.
It's absolutely brilliant. I mean, 1966 Charger 2 obviously being the very first of the Charger line by Dodge. It was the start of an ongoing legacy, wasn't it?
Absolutely. The unfortunate part was the first generation had 30-some thousand cars built the first year. The second year it fell off drastically to only about 15 or 18,000. And then, of course, the 68s went up to about 80,000.
Now, this particular car, 383 under the hood, we've got a 4-speed going on there. Nice package.
Yeah, it's a nice driving car. As far as the engine goes, it is the original block in the car. Original heads. The only thing that we've changed is intake, carburetor, and a Mopar Performance camshaft. Had the original compression trued up at the machine shop, and everything else sits here as you see with only 66,000 miles on the car.
With the 66 Charger, what is very unique, the interior. Gorgeous interior for a muscle car. Can't help but notice that full-length console that runs from front to out back.
Yes, that's unique to the 66, actually. In 67, it went to a partial. It ended at the back of the front seats, and it makes for a really, really cool interior with 4 bucket seats also.
Absolutely. It's a very, very nice feature. Now, how does the car drive? I mean, obviously, I know you've spent a lot of money on the thing. You've restored the car. How does it drive?
It's a real pleasure to drive. It's a very comfortable car. The 4-speed in this car shifts as smooth as you could ever imagine. You can cruise down the highway. It's a factory 323 gears in the car, and you can sit in the interstate 70, 75 mile an hour, and it's just a dream.
Do it all day long.
Absolutely.
Jace, thanks for being on the show, mate, and fantastic catching up with you at, well, the largest Chrysler show technically in the world.
Absolutely. Besides the Nationals, this is one of the 2 biggest shows in our country anyway.
Good on you, Jace. Thanks for your time.
You're welcome.
No, you don't. No, not at
Sometimes end up with one. I just think it's osmosis from the show.
yeah, I thought I'd come along and save you. Lucky enough to have Cindy Williams from Happy Days, American Graffiti. Everyone knows Cindy. Cindy, welcome back to the show.
And Laverne and Shirley.
Of course. Who could forget Laverne and Shirley?
Must be the heat.
Absolutely. Working there at Milwaukee.
That's right. At the brewery. Capping those bottles.
Did you sample any of the product?
No, it was only near beer for us.
That must have been incredible back in the day. It really must. I thought I'd come along and save you. You're being absolutely inundated this weekend.
Oh, but it's been such a pleasure because people are so nice and friendly and reminiscent, and it's all, you know, mirthful and festive. And where do you get that in the world these days except in Australia?
Absolutely. And might I say, too, that not everybody gets 2 interviews so close together with Fletch. You're doing really well.
Well, thank you, Fletch. How much am I paying you for that?
We can talk about that later. You've been here a few days now. How's the event? How do you feel?
Oh, the event's fantastic. Well, we had that big major storm in the beginning, which was awesome for me because I'm from Southern California. It doesn't rain too much. But everyone has been just wonderful and fun and you know, friendly, and it's just been a pleasure. It really always is my blessing when I come to a show like this and get to meet people.
Well, it's my first time for Carlisle on Classic Restos, my TV show. Speaking to somebody like yourself simply enhances the whole event and really enlightens the experience. It's just so wonderful.
Well, it's nice of you to say, Fletch, and vice versa.
Thank you very much. Now, before I go, just got a question for you. Tell me, what was it like back in the days to work with Henry Winkler, Ralph Mouth? I mean, do you keep in touch with all the old gang?
I just saw Don Most 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to see Henry next week, and I see Anson, and I was supposed to see Marion next week. So yes is the answer to that, Fletch, yes.
It's just nice after so many years that sometimes people fade away, but you guys have hung in there, which is just so nice.
By the skin of our teeth.
I think we all had a bit of a tear in our eye when our family figure Tom Bosley passed away.
Oh, yes. You know, he's just so, such a big, lively figure. He was always so verbose and alive that it's very tough to think of him as somewhere else. I just think, well, I don't have access to seeing him right now, you know.
Was how he was in real life, was he just like that when he did the show? Was that Tom?
He was extremely fun and extremely intelligent all at the same time, and he could sing. Yes.
So Henry Winkler, the Fonz, he's one guy I've got to try and nail one of these days. Hopefully one of these events he may turn up.
Syracuse next week.
I should just get permanent residency here in the US.
Yeah.
Anyway, Cindy, look, I'll let you get back to it. You've got a whole queue of people here. Thanks for letting me come back here with you.
It's a pleasure. You come back anytime, Fletch.
Thanks, Cindy.
Thank you, Fletch.
Your own classic car at home in the shed. Doesn't get much better than that. But what about putting your classic car up on a hoist when you want to work underneath it? Imagine that, giving your car a lift. Your garage will be king of the street. If you want to find out more information about a hoist for your house, go to classicrestos.com.au and click on the advertising company section. Now don't go anywhere because we're going to be back with more Carlisle right after this. Moving through Classic Restos, the Carlisle edition. James, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Fletch.
Mate, what year is your Belvedere?
It's a 64.
Have you ever seen a nicer station wagon than this? This is absolutely glorious, mate. What's the story?
My dad and I went and picked it up in 2002, and it was going to be a project he was going to restore for my mom, and then he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and so after he passed, I decided to try to get it finished up in his honor, and I think it came out pretty nice.
What a dedicated man you are.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
His car's got all the lines, it's got the class, and I mean, I'm sure he's looking down on this.
Oh, yeah. My dad and I used to go to car shows all the time. He's been a long-time Mopar person, and that's how I was raised.
He's still with you, buddy?
Yes. Yes, he is.
Okay, tell us a little bit about the car, the engine size.
It's the original 361 big block. It has a push-button 727 transmission, 8 3/4. It's a 9-passenger wagon, so it has a seat that faces the opposite end. Nothing any real special. I mean, I've added a, FM stereo for good cruising, and that's about it.
Is that the original red and white interior?
No. The car was originally champagne brown with a brown interior, so I decided I wanted something that would really stand out.
And it's cool, it's clean, it's crisp. You've given it like a new image, but yet still old retro. It's a perfect combination.
Yeah, I think so. I think it looks good. It's just a good fit for it.
I think typically of the stainless steel shades, or the deflector shields, should I say, on the rear there, the rack on top, mate, it's just real period, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah, I think the next thing I want to add is a surfboard that's custom painted to match the car.
Okay, James, you'd be taking up surfing, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely.
Rolling in on the big sets.
That's right.
Well, I couldn't think of a cooler way to get to the beach.
Yes, I agree.
All right, mate, thanks for being on the show. You're lined up here to get your trophy, mate. I'll let you get back to it. Thanks for your time.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Moving through Chryslers at Carlisle. Got this guy now. His name's Wayne. He's the administrator of the Christine Car Club. Wayne, welcome to Classic Restos.
Thank you. Thank you. We're glad to be here.
Mate, I want to thank you first of all. This guy's responsible for helping to organise the interview with myself and John Snyder, Bo Duke off the Dukes of Hazzard. Thanks, man.
Anything I can do to help. Very, very glad to help.
Well, mate, it's a pretty good contact for you guys too. I mean, to have access to John like that.
We're as surprised as everybody else is, to be completely honest with you. We never in a million years thought that our little car club would blossom into this monstrosity that it's become. So but we feel we're blessed. We're blessed.
Absolutely. Now, tell us about the Christine Car Club. Tell us what you stand for.
Well, the Christine Car Club was founded back in 2005 by just a handful of people that have been obsessed with the Christine car for years and years. We learned very early on that it's extremely difficult to build one, find parts. Unfortunately, it's not like a 57 Chevy. You can't just go out and get a catalog and purchase everything that you need. You have to take each individual piece of that car, restore it, and then that's how you build it. So it takes years. It was the only option we had, but it's paid off tremendously.
Tell the people that don't know about the Christine car, the year model, the make.
Well, it's a 1958 Plymouth Fury in the movie. It's a two-door hardtop, separate from the book, which was a four-door. It was situated with the rarest of the rare motors, the 350 Golden Commando, which was a one-year-only motor from 1958. The people out there that have an affinity for that car, I don't have to explain it. They just know. They see those fins, they hear that music, and that takes over.
Saw a T-shirt the other day, and it had Mopar written across the top of it, and it said, "If you have to ask, you won't understand."
That's a perfect explanation. It doesn't get much better than that.
You alluded off camera that you've had some tremendous support from fellow Australians.
It's hard to put into words the kind of a response that we have gotten. When we first started out, we were just a little club based out of the United States. And here come these two guys from Australia, a guy named Fred Gagliardi and his buddy Jace. They've built up their own little regime over in Australia, a division of our club. And they just keep giving and giving and giving. We can't thank these guys enough. But now, as a result of that, we've got chapters in the UK, we've got chapters in Germany, France, Belgium, one just starting in Russia now. So it's a tremendous help to us all. And we've actually got a little network now where we send a lot of parts over to Australia for these guys. Parts, cars, anything we can do to help each other. And that general attitude has just kind of grown into I don't want to call it a cult, but everybody is out to help everybody else. And the success of our club is it's the combined sum of the contributions of our members. And if it wasn't for guys like that, we wouldn't be as big as we are today.
Now, well, our largest Chrysler outdoor show in Australia is our Chryslers on the Murray event, which happens every March on the border between New South Wales and Victoria. And a Christine car turns up there.
Okay, that's got to be one of our guys. I'd be willing to bet. There's got to be a Christine Car Club sticker in it.
If you're watching and you know who you are, send this guy an email. Speaking of which, now the website, drop the website for everybody that wants to find out more about this unique club of yours.
The website is www.christinecarclub.com. Membership in the club is free. There's no charge. We have a very large discussion forum that's linked off from the site, as well as a site store and a few other things. That's what keeps us alive and keeps us on the internet. So by all means, we welcome every year, make and model.
What do you say about Carlisle events? It's a massive thank you to Ed Bazeski and the whole Carlisle team to help to assist for making Classic Restos happen in 2011 at this event. Take a note of the website for Carlisle events. Website details across the bottom of the screen right now. Go there, have a look. Have a look at all the different ranges of shows. You'll be surprised at what is on at Carlisle. In the meantime, as I always say, drive safe, take care. I'm Fletch signing off from the USA. Until next time, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching Classic Restos. If you want to see your car on the show, go to classicrestos.com.au. In the meantime, drive safe, resto your ride and get it on the show. Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannon's Insurance for Motoring Enthusiasts, Gator, Induction and carsales.com.au.